We're going to take a look at multiplying in algebra then. So this is just going to be the basics. We're not going to need to draw any boxes for this multiplying. So it's just the basic multiplying. So we're going to take a look at a couple of things to remember when we're doing this, and then we're going to look at some examples. So the first thing we need to know is, what do we do when we're multiplying? When we're multiplying, we multiply the signs first. So what I mean by that is, if it's a +2 and a +2, you multiply the plus by the plus. If it's a -2 by a +2, you multiply the minus by the plus. So the signs first, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a minute. You then multiply the numbers, so the 2 and the 4 and the 3 or whatever the numbers are, you multiply those, and then we write the letters afterwards. So the things that we need to remember here are, when we're multiplying letters, we write them next to each other. So if I want to multiply x by y, I write it as xy. If it's the same letter, we change the power. So what that means is, if I'm multiplying x by x, if I'm multiplying x by x, then that means I have x, and I write a little 2 on the top to show me that there was 2 of them. If I had another one, I write a little 3 on the top to show me that there was 3 of them. If I had something like this, I write x, I have 3 of them here and another one, so that's 4 of them. So the little power tells me how many of them I multiplied. Brackets means multiply, so they won't always say you have to multiply these. Sometimes they will say, sometimes they'll just write them with brackets. And the last thing to be aware of is this thing with the signs. So when we're multiplying minus and a minus, they give me a plus. So minus by a minus, it gives me a plus. Plus by a minus, it gives me a minus. So the main thing to think about here is that if you're able to pair off the minuses, then that means your answer is going to be a plus. So for instance, if I have -1 by -1 by -1, okay? Let me get rid of the last -1 for a second. If I multiply these two, minus and a minus give me a plus, and 1 by 1 is just 1, okay? If I add in another 1, my minuses here, I'm able to pair them off. It means that I have this one and this one will pair together. There's no other minus, so my answer is going to be a plus, and 1 by 1 by 1 is just 1. However, if I added a minus in here, I can't pair them off. I'll pair that one with that one. There's one pair, but I have nothing to pair this with. So that means my answer is going to be a minus, and I multiply 1 by 1 by 1, which gives me 1. So just remember, if you're able to pair off the minuses, that means that it's going to be a plus answer. If I can't pair them off, then that means that my answer is going to be minus. So basically, if I have 2 minuses and everything else is plus, my answer will be a plus. If I have 6 minuses and the rest of them are all pluses, then that means I can pair them off. I'll have 3 different pairs of minuses, which means my answer will be a plus. So here are the questions that we are going to take a look at. So for the first question then, I'm multiplying 3 and my 2x. So 3 and 2x. So signs first, that's a plus and that's a plus. So that means my answer is going to be a plus. I don't have to write it if it's a plus. I can if I want. I'm multiplying my numbers next. 3 multiplied by 2 gives me 6. And I write my letters after it. Okay? So that's that first one done. Second one, going over to here, I have -6 and a +4y. So firstly, can I pair off that minus with another minus? I can't. So my answer is going to be negative. Whereas if you look at question 4 here, I can pair off those minuses and my answer will be a plus. Okay, going back to question 2 then. I've multiplied my signs. What comes next? My numbers comes next. 6 4s are 24. And I write my letters after it. Okay, let's try another one. Minus and a plus, but I can't pair off my minus, so that means it's a minus. 2 5s are going to be 10, and I write my letter afterwards. Okay, question 4. I can pair off my minuses, so my answer will be a plus. 2 3s are going to give me 6. And remembering that if I have a letter more than once, I put a number at the top, a little power, to show how many times x was written. The last question we'll look at is this question here, so a little bit trickier. Can I pair off my minuses? Those will pair together to give me a plus, and then the other one is a plus, so my answer is going to be a plus. Multiplying the numbers 2 by 3 is going to give me 6. 6 by 2 is going to give me 12. So make sure that you're multiplying this by this and your answer by the last number. The last thing then is I have the letter X and I have the letter Y, but how many X's do I have? I have 2 from here and 1 from here, so that means I must have 3 of them. And I write my Y after it.